and welcome back to the Strong Opinion Hibs podcast. I'm Calvin, your host tonight. I'm joined by Jack. We've got a special guest on tonight as well, Hibernian women and Scotland national team player Leah Eddy. How are you, Leah?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Good, I'm good as well. And how are you, Jack?
I'm all right. Busy night of football for me, obviously. Hibs are playing Dundee, Karlsruhe are playing in the Pokal as well, and then Turbina Potsdam, my German women's team, have just beat Henstedt Augsburg 5-0. So to get into the Women's Cup semi-finals as well. So I've been a busy boy tonight.
All right, good. It sounds like a good night all round for you then. You know, definitely no Hibs are going to let you down, that's for sure.
Probably.
So, Leah, we're just going to do a little introduction for some of the listeners who might not be as clued up on the women's game or might not know sort of your career personally. So just a couple questions to get to know you for our fans and our listeners. What made you fall in love with football?
I think just from a very young age, I was trying to find something that I enjoyed, and I tried like swimming and dancing and stuff, and there was just nothing that I was really taking a fancy to. And then one day I just went home to my mum and I'd said, there's football trials, can I go? And just from there it kind of went on, and I've still here I am.
And was that football trials at your school, or was it for sort of like a local team, or?
It was for Fun Fours at Falkirk, just where I'm from. So I started at Fun Fours and then progressed into a boys' league and then into a girls' and women's league.
Good. And how was that being in the league with the boys? Were you one of the better players?
No, it was really hard, obviously, because boys are really physical and stuff, and they didn't like it when girls were kind of maybe taking the ball off them or getting by them. But it was good to kind of like try and match the boys' physicality and then take that into the women's side.
Mm-hmm. So getting involved in football and falling in love for it, did you have a favourite player growing up?
No, to be honest, I actually never. I supported Man United growing up, but I wouldn't say there was a specific player that I would look at. I would just look at them all round, really.
Okay. So in terms of supporting Manchester United or liking Manchester United, was there anyone from the women's game, or when you were younger, how did you grow up? Who was this first sort of like women's player that caught your eye, that you liked how they played or sort of inspired you?
Well, I think when I was at school, Leah Ross was an active schools coordinator, so she was actually involved coming out of my school, and I knew she had been playing with Glasgow City and stuff. So I had seen her a couple of times when I was younger going through school. So I'd say probably Leah Ross.
Leah Ross. And what made you want to be a defender? Did somebody spot something in you that you thought you'd be a good defender, or was it just a position that just came naturally to you, or did you used to play somewhere else when you were younger, a different position?
So at 7-a-side, I actually was playing striker. So I was top goal scorer, I think, for under 13s. And then I went for Scotland trials, moved to right back, and then when I progressed through the age groups, I ended up being a centre back. So, aye.
So centre back. And when you were playing 7-a-side, was it still mixed, or was it girls football?
That's when it was girls. So that was Falkirk girls under 13s.
Yeah, and you had so obviously before you joined Hibs, you had a little stint at Rangers. How did you enjoy your time there, and what are some of the things that you've learned that you've took to Hibs?
Rangers was a great move for me. I just came back from injury, so I had a fresh start there. The group of girls that were there and experienced players was brilliant. So I'd say that when I had moved to Rangers, it was definitely the right move for me.
Mm-hmm. And your local high school's been in contact. Your old high school's been in contact as well, Graham High School, through Twitter. I don't know if that's embarrassing for you or not, but so you attended the performance school at Graham High School and played for the Central Ladies Academy. So how did those experiences sort of shape you as a footballer?
So I went through the performance school. I was first to fourth year, so that was where there was only 3 girls and then the rest were boys. So just like what it was playing in the boys' league, I was kind of like grown up around boys, and the way that they play, everything's, I'd say, much sharper, and they're all much stronger, and maybe not faster, but trying to match them every single day training really helped a lot to go in and then train with a women's team. So I'd say that the experiences that I got from that and meeting my best friends as well along with it was amazing.
Yeah, so do you think, like, growing up seeing having the mix of boys and girls playing together, do you think that's helped you obviously develop your game? Because like you were saying there, you'd have to try and match that level of intensity and physicality.
It was always difficult going into training. I knew that there was boys that was playing for Rangers Pro Youth and Celtic and stuff, so it was difficult for me trying to match them at the same age level, but it just made me like experience stuff that I hadn't experienced before. So yeah, I'd say it helped a lot.
Perfect. Right, I'll hand you over to Jack for our next section, who's going to look at some more Hibs-based content.
Right, so I'll just fire away. So obviously, we made the switch to Hibs in 2018 from Ibrox to Easter Road, which is a very good choice, I've got to say. So what made you choose Hibs here?
What made me
choose Hibs, yeah. So what made you sort of choose Hibs as a club, and like what attracted you to Hibs?
I'd just say, like I said, when I had moved to Rangers, it was the right move for me at the time, and I'd say when I left Rangers to go to Hibs, I'd also say that was the right time to make that move. When Hibs had came in for me, I had a lot to think about. It wasn't an easy decision to make, but seeing them how well they were doing and how much cups they were bringing home, and it was just something that I couldn't really turn down, and I was just so excited to get in with the team.
Yeah, so you're not the first Hibs defender to make the switch from Rangers to Hibs either. Obviously, Darren McGregor is another good name that's done that as well. So I'll move on to the next question. And obviously, your first season Hibs was unfortunately hampered a bit due to injury. So how was that for you after getting injured in the first game of the season? And did that make you more determined to succeed when you did come back?
It was hard coming into a new team, and I was fortunate enough we had friendlies before our season kicked off, so I think maybe I had 4 games with Hibs. Then first game of the season I got injured and was out for 9 months, so it was hard to kind of then come back from injury into a new team and try and get a spot within the starting lineup. But I think it did make me more determined. It was my second time round as well, so I knew everything, like how to go about things and stuff. So I'd say that I was it helped me be the player that I am today, I'd say.
Definitely. And one thing I've sort of got to throw in is you're talking about how you were a striker when you were younger. Is that why you learned to do what you did against Cairn? Because we were talking about that after the game. And I was saying you always say you mean goals like that. So is that where you picked that up? Was that your striker coming out in you when you put your laces through that ball?
No, I'd like to say it was, but I actually never meant that. So
I'll be fair, at 11-0 up, 12-0 up, you can just go, I'll go for it. So the next question is, despite being sidelined, what was it like to experience the SWPL Cup win and obviously the Champions League campaign, including the Slavia game at Easter Road and the trip to Prague as well, and obviously the trip to Slovenia for the qualifying as well?
Even though I wasn't playing, it was an amazing experience to be involved, and you're just as important on the sidelines as you are on the pitch. So I just done everything I could to help the team out, and I think that Hibs have been as successful as they can. So yeah, I'd say it was important for me to be doing that role on the side of the pitch, because I knew that all the girls would if it was them in that position.
Well, the good thing about going out to Prague when you don't need to play is you can go and enjoy the nightlife, shall we say, if you're not playing instead of having to focus on training. But it must have been a great experience, Prague. It's obviously a beautiful city, and also Slavia played at the Aiden Arena as well, which is obviously the men's team stadium. And I know a lot of these Champions League games play at their training ground or that. They don't actually play in the big stadium, these European teams. What was it like, the Aiden Arena? Because it's actually one I've always wanted to visit, but I've never had a chance to get out to the Czech Republic.
It was good because at that point I was actually doing my rehab on the pitch, so I got to experience obviously being on the pitch along with the girls, even though I was just at the side. But it was a nice pitch to experience training on and seeing the girls play.
Yeah, no, it must have been. And obviously at Easter Road you were signing autographs as well. You were there with Martin and Amy signing autographs, Martin Boyle and Amy Muir signing autographs. What was that like, seeing so many young girls coming along Easter Road for a Champions League night and seeing what at the time was a record crowd. Obviously, we smashed it for the derby, but it's still our record European crowd. It beat the Bayern Munich attendance as well. So how was that for you on that night as well?
I just think I was a bit like shocked at how many people were actually invested in women's football. There was loads of people that had obviously been coming to see, like Martin Boyle and stuff, but then there was also people coming to see the women's players as well. So I think at that point it was definitely growing, and then from then till now it's just kept going. So yeah, it was nice to see so many people coming along to support the women's game.
I actually remember that because my mate was all excited to see Martin. I was like, I didn't care. I want my autograph for Amy Muir. I didn't care about Martin. I'm just bothered about Amy Muir. I see Martin Boyle every week, so it was like, yeah, no, it was a great night. That though, despite the result, I think it was great to see so many people out there and experience like Champions League football at Easter Road. Because let's be honest, we're not going to say that about the men's team anytime soon. So. We're moving on to my next question, but obviously your first sort of real season, Hibs, was obviously during the lockdown season, but start and fans were locked out. So what was it like, sort of returning from injury in such a difficult season?
I'd say that lockdown actually helped me. I was meant to have my first game back this Sunday and we got put into lockdown that Thursday. So it was kind of bad timing, but the extra couple of months that we were locked up, it allowed me to get on with the gym and individual work. So I'd say that it was probably a positive at that point in time. And then coming back into the season without fans, it was strange to not really have like my mum and dad there, but there was always live streams and stuff we could watch. So once you're playing, you kind of forget about it anyway. So yeah, overall I'd say it was probably a positive for me.
Yeah, and you got your first goal in that season as well, I believe. It was against Spartans, I think it was, at Ainsley Park. If I can remember correct, I can't remember much about that season, but how did it feel to get your first goal for Hibs at that time? So obviously it was a real sort of comeback story. You'd had your injury and come back into the team and had got a goal for yourself as well. So what was that like?
I probably at the point never expected to score, but getting the goal to help the team obviously helped with the team, and that's what our main focus is. So it was good, but that wasn't expected.
I think most centre halves will say that, or defenders will say that they don't expect to score in games. I think that's like a common thing about the position, but they always do end up scoring. So obviously during that season, you had a real like sort of standout campaign, and obviously became one of the best sort of young players, not just at the club but in the league as well. So how did it feel to like go from that low point of obviously being injured and missing basically a full season to coming back and then becoming sort of, I would like to say have a breakout season and becoming one of the sort of best players at the club? How did that sort of feel for you?
Well, my main focus coming back from injury was just to get minutes and get into the team week in, week out. And once I had done that, I then thought about the next step that I had to take after that. So I was just kind of individually working on what needed worked on, and I wasn't aiming for the achievements that I got, but it was all probably all the hard work that I'd put in through my rehab had made it all worth it once I had achieved that. So yeah, overall, like I say, probably having that injury did make me more determined to achieve more.
That's a really professional answer. I like that. That's good. That's good. I think it is, like I said, it's a real comeback story, and that's what's good about you as a player. I think that you're determined to come back and you've done such a great job as well. So next question for you is obviously you got recognised for your efforts in that season with the Hibs Women Player of the Year award. So how did it feel to pick up the award? Obviously it wasn't the same as it would have been. Obviously it's usually quite a grand occasion, but obviously because of the restrictions it was an online event. So how did it feel to pick up the Player of the Year award for Hibs Women?
It's actually really strange because, like you say, you normally get it in person with the men's team and stuff, but it was good that they had still put something on online, and it still gave everyone that had got awards that night the recognition that they achieved. So I'd say it was strange, but it was really nice to be part of it.
Yeah, definitely, and I thought I wasn't surprised really when I saw that you'd got the award, because I knew I had a funny feeling, because I thought, well, it's either going to be Leah or potentially like Ailey Adams, and I knew it'd be either you or Ailey, and aye, so it was nice to see you get it, I think, because like I said, coming back and having such a great campaign. So the next question is obviously about Scotland. So off the back of that, you got included in the Scotland squad for friendlies against Wales and Northern Ireland. So obviously you got on as a sub against Northern Ireland. So how did it feel to get your first Scotland cap and get the shout from the manager? Obviously we had the intern manager. It was just before Pedro Martinez Losa came in. So how did it feel? You're sitting on the bench to say, right, Leah, get ready and come on. That must have been amazing to get cap for Scotland, and even though it was just for a wee while on the pitch, just still to get out there in a Scotland shirt against like a decent Northern Ireland team as well.
Well, obviously we're needing to warm up at the side of the pitch and always be prepared in case, even if anyone goes down injured or just that getting that call to go on. So I was prepared to go on, and once I got that shout, I think kind of adrenaline took over at that point, and the nerves just had to go to the side. But when I went on and got a touch of the ball and stuff, it was fine. I just settled into it like I would playing a game with Hibs. So yeah, it was something that I've always dreamed of when I was a wee girl. So it was really nice to experience it.
I was sitting the whole game saying, please bring Leah on, please bring Leah on. And then I was buzzing when you eventually got on. So obviously you've been included in the Scotland squad a few more times. So this is a bit of a two-parters. First of all, you were included in the squad for a recent World Cup qualifiers. Obviously you were in for Hungary, Ukraine. You've got in last minute to the one against Spain. So how did it feel to sort of, even though you didn't get to play, be part of a Scotland camp, building up to obviously such big games like World Cup qualifiers? That must have been excellent for you to sort of have that opportunity.
Just to be involved, and even though I never got any minutes or that, being involved, it was huge. And obviously playing at Hampden and stuff, it's something that I had the experience before, so it was something that I'll remember forever. And just seeing like my family and my friends and stuff in the stand made it even better.
Yeah, I'm surprised in the Ukraine game you never heard me like forgetting which country I meant to support, because I ended up with the Ukraine fans at one point. I was standing up going, Ukraine. I went, oh wait a minute, I'm a Scotland fan. I'll sit down. It was quite funny. Like we had some stuff like saying you've got to jump if you don't jump you like Putin and everything like that. So it was quite a funny night. The guys were all really nice. So I did enjoy that game. I enjoyed the Hungary game as well. Obviously it was like utter limbs when we got the last minute winner, or at least that was me and my pal. I think a load of folk were fed up of us sitting there at one point, but mainly because I shouted Pat Fenlon out for some reason when Hungary got their equaliser. But that's enough about me misbehaving at Hampden. So obviously you've been included in the Pinatar Cup squad recently as well. What was that like to get out to the Pinatar Cup with the senior Scotland players and enjoy the camp? Because obviously it's not just like a competition. You've obviously got a bit of training going on there and everything as well. So what was that like to get out to sunny Spain whilst we were all stuck here in the winter weather and enjoy yourself out there? And obviously you got minutes against was it Slovenia or Slovakia we played? I always get these two mixed up. Slovenia, wasn't it?
Slovakia.
Oh, I always knew it was one of them two. I always get the two of them mixed up with each other because I've got similar flags and badges and everything. So what was it like to get included in the squad sort of thing and get the experience again and then get on again as well?
So originally I wasn't included in the squad, and then I'd been called in last minute due to an injury. So it was kind of a quick turnaround, getting told that I would be going out to Spain, but it was obviously a nice surprise. So I'd got the call on the Saturday and we were leaving on the Monday. So like you say, that it's not just the games, it's training. So the first day there the first full day I had a double session. So I was just coming back from injury just there as well. So it was kind of good to get in and get good quality training straight away after injury and bring that back to club. So I was ready for our league games here. But I'd say the experience of getting on again, just like the first time, the adrenaline probably took the nerves away. And I think it was maybe 10 minutes in total, but I think I probably touched the ball way more than what I expected. So yeah, I'd say it was a good second cap to receive.
100%, and also you've got a 100% record of Scotland as well. Both games that you've played, you've won. So you've got to keep your Scotland's good luck charm. You better start you against Spain when you come to Hampden, because I think
exactly.
so, talking about the manager, what's Pedro Martinez Losa like to work with as a manager? Because obviously he's quite experienced. He won loads of trophies with Arsenal when he was down there, so a big, well-experienced coach. What is he like to work with?
He's a really good guy. He's really easy to get on with. Like you say, he's got loads of experience in the women's game, so working with him and his Spanish background as well, you're learning stuff every single day in training. The amount of stuff that I'd learned just in that 10-day camp was amazing. So also training with the top athletes that are there along with him, it really does help push me on and realise the standard that I'm wanting to get to.
That's good. And one last question about Hibs, and I think Calvin's got a wee extra question for you after I ask this as well, is what are your aspirations for the rest of your time at Hibs? What do you want to do? Do you want to win silverware? Obviously, you've not had the chance to do that properly because you were injured at the last SWPL Cup winning, and we've got the Scottish Cup campaign, and sort of what else do you want to achieve in a Hibs shirt?
I think the season hasn't went the way that we've kind of wanted, and we're just kind of having to take every single game as it comes and try and get the result that we want. And we're obviously still in the Scottish Cup, which we're hoping to progress through to the semi-finals. But if not, then we'll just take it as it comes and focus on the league, getting minutes under our belts and just kind of being better ourselves as a team instead of focusing on something that's not really realistic.
Yeah, that's good. I think that is the way to do it, and I think it's good that we're sort of coming in fourth again to sort of build a platform for consistency. It's good to be consistent, and hopefully we can start pushing for Champions League again soon, because I really want my two teams to play each other, because Turbina are playing for Champions League now. They're pushing for it, so I'd love a Hibs Turbina game as well. I'd love a Hibs Turbina Potsdam game. So hopefully that's not too far away. So Calvin, I'll let you get in there with your extra wee question now, mate.
So I was just going to do a quick segment looking at teammates, so just getting to know the team at Hibernian Women. I'm just going to ask you some questions, and if you can just give me the answer as to which person you think it relates most to at Hibs Women's. So who's the best trainer?
Oh, these are hard. I'd probably say Shannon McGregor.
Okay, who's the most skillful?
Amy Gallagher.
Who would you say is the biggest moaner on the pitch?
I know who's coming here, I think.
Shiv.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
Who would you say has got the brains? Who's the smartest?
Smalley.
Right. Who would you say has got the best dress sense?
Shannon McGregor.
Shannon again. And who's the sort of locker room DJ?
Shiv.
And last one here, who fancies himself as the Joker?
There's loads of them in our team. I'd probably say Cav, maybe.
I'd agree with that, actually, because anytime I speak to Cav, I always end up laughing. Like, honestly, you can't stop with her. She always comes away with something that you can't stop laughing at.
Hopefully you've not lost any friends through those short little quick questions I've asked you there, but I'll pass you back over to Jack just to finish up with the listener questions that have been sent in over on Instagram.
Yeah, so we got some listener questions over Instagram, as Calvin mentioned there, and I knew you were going to say Shiv's the most argumentative on the pitch. I think that was never in doubt. So first of all, this one comes from Jack Banks, who's Charlie that joins on the podcast. Obviously, the third member of the podcast, Charlie's wee brother. Jack asked, one player, dead or alive, male or female, that you'd want to play football with.
I would always pick Ronaldo over Messi, but I'd like to be able to train with Messi, I think.
I think that would be a good one, actually. Messi seems like he'd be better on the training pitch than Ronaldo. I mean, I think Messi's more of a team player, but we'll not get into that debate and we'll be here all night. But so the next one is from Eve Hutchison on Instagram. She asks, who's the best player you've ever played with?
That's the hard one as well. Probably say Caroline Weir.
That's a strong one, actually. That is a really strong one. Caroline Mears, an amazing player. Obviously, like she's just like the heart of that Scotland midfield right now. You'd see, like, as I was watching the game against Ukraine. Ukraine had some quite physical midfielders. Because obviously Eastern European football is very much sort of a physical game, and Caroline was just taking it all in her stride. It was amazing. Always a really good player to watch. So this one, now there is a right answer here. I'm going to. So this one's from Siobhan. This one is from Shiv, and she's asking who is the best person at Hibs. So you're going to have to tread very carefully here, or you're going to have to watch when you walk into the dressing room on Sunday.
Well, my two best friends, I'd probably say, in the team is Shannon and Shiv. So I'll do a joint.
Yeah, that's a good diplomatic answer. I think you've saved yourself there. You've saved yourself. So that one had, that one had come from Shiv there. So I was a bit worried when she said that. I didn't want to start a rammy here. I'm not getting blamed for it. So we'll move on. We've got 3 final questions for you, and these are from Charlie. Since Charlie couldn't join us tonight, Charlie sent in some questions. So first of all, and I think this is a really good one, is what's your highlight in a Hibs shirt? What's like your biggest highlight in a Hibs shirt so far?
I'd probably say receiving Player of the Year. Coming back from injury, it's something that I never expected, so it was really nice to receive it.
Definitely. And second one is obviously, what's your dream stadium to play in? So if you could play in any stadium in world football, what stadium would you play in?
Do you know what? I'm not even that fussed to be playing in big, huge stadiums and where big teams play. I'd probably just say, like I've experienced before, playing with Hibs, playing at Easter Road, that was something that was amazing. So I'd probably just say keeping that trend up and playing at Easter Road.
That's the right answer. It's the best stadium in world football anyway, at least San Siro, the most beautiful stadium in football. The Olympiastadion in Berlin, or the Karl-Liebknecht Stadion, home to Turbine Potsdam, would have also been an acceptable answer for me there. So the final one for Charlie, and I'll hand you back to Calvin just to do the wee outro, is what was it like playing at Easter Road and Tynecastle in both those derbies? Obviously, both victories. I think the one at Swinecastle, or to use its proper name, Swinecastle. What was the feeling playing at both derbies there, and getting victories at them both as well? I sort of coupled that on to the end of Charlie's question. What was it like getting victories at both stadiums, and what was it like to play at record crowds for both clubs as well?
I think it was amazing just to even get that opportunity from the clubs backing us and allowing us to play at the pitch, which I think should be the case. Getting that crowd behind us and obviously getting the result that we wanted, it's what we had planned for, and we managed to get that. So I think we had put things in place to achieve, and we managed to do that. So there's no better feeling than kind of achieving the goals that you set out.
I completely agree. I think the one at Tynecastle was, as much as I enjoyed being at Easter Road, being in the posh seats was a bit out of my comfort zone, to be honest. I'm usually in with the riff-raff and all the Radgies in the East stand, so being at Tynecastle, like being in the Roseburn stand, which is obviously like the proper away end as well, felt like absolutely amazing. And to get that picture of me and Siobhan in the scarf, with the scarf as well, that was brilliant. Like proper Hibs photo. That is like the most Hibs photo ever. Which I've been using to wind up Claire Delworth as well, which I'm sure Claire won't mind me saying that, but I was using that to wind up Claire Delworth, so kind of much of a big jambo she is. But aye, that was an amazing night, and I think it was a great night for women's football in Edinburgh as well. Both nights were an amazing night for women's football in Edinburgh. And I think Calvin will probably be diplomatic and say the one at Easter Road was better because it was a good night for the podcast, but I'm a good old.
I thought they were both good. I liked the Tynecastle one too, especially because I think we took a little bit longer to score the first goal in that one, so like the tension was a wee bit higher. And I thought the Hearts fans were really good at the Tynecastle one. Like they booed the Hibs players coming out and stuff like that, and I thought it made for a bit of an atmosphere.
Like a proper.
That.
The best bit was,
it was good. Like,
and I knew she was going to do this if she scored because I spoke to her about it. But when Siobhan scored, I mean, right over to the Hearts, the knee slide right over the Hearts band, too, like that, and the bruise. But it was beautiful. It was beautiful, honestly. And I was just like, go on, Shiv. She deserved that moment, to be honest. She really did. And Emily's heroics as well. So I think that was a really good night. So I'll hand you back to Calvin for the outro now.
Yeah, so we just wanted to say thanks again for coming on. Really appreciate your time and really enjoyed chatting to you. Would you like to just tell our listeners where they can follow you? Can they follow you on social media to keep up with sort of your career?
Yeah, I've got Twitter and I've got Instagram. So my Instagram's just Leah Eddie, I'm sure, and my Twitter's just Leah Eddie as well. So
perfect, no worries. So you can follow Leah over on Twitter and Instagram to keep up with her. You can also follow Hibernian Women and keep up to date with the latest from the women's team. And everyone at the podcast just wants to wish you and the best for your career and your Scotland career. We hope to see you in and around that Scotland team more often and for a long period of time into the future. And wishing you all the best for the rest of the season.
thank you. Thanks very much for having me.
Yeah, you're
no worries at all. It was a brilliant chat. I've got to echo all that as well. So until next time, folks, I've sort of stole this bit for Calvin, but until next time, folks, glory to Hibs.